Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
We don't have this from last week, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Hey. No. You told me this.
I actually can buy the horse more than I could buy the dugga 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 dugga. I don't know what that was.
Boy, have you never heard of a thing that continues on after you, like, it's like a thing that goes, So what's going on? How's everything going over there?
Everything's going swell.
I think I'm way too high from having the toggle thing.
Yeah.
It creates a certain pressure for the rest of the show.
Yeah, you got a little competency buzz.
Yeah, because tomorrow, and guess what happens tomorrow, Josh?
What's that, Andy?
It's boom, boom, boom. Let's go up to your room, and we can do it all night, and we can put the boom right. Is that what the song's about?
It is now.
And then Mike Rowe, of the old Mike Rowe. We have too many Mike Rowes, but one of them is, I forgot the joke. I'm being followed by Boom Shadow. I'm not saying he came up with it.
No, because many people have, including myself.
It still makes me laugh. I'm being followed by, the song says Moon Shadow.
Uh-huh.
I look good. You know, people say I don't look so good in the morning. I look good. I no wonder why Susan's always, and I don't know if I should mention this, but she's so hot for me in the morning. We can't keep our hands off each other.
Yeah.
With
She's
the
asleep,
constant
Andy.
stabbing.
She's asleep. Leave her alone.
Hey, we love these type of jokes. When you're married, no means why not? Hey, take that out, okay?
I will.
Or put it in there.
You've made me uncomfortable.
Did I really make you uncomfortable?
Not really. If I had a soul, you would have, though.
Well, no, because actually, I'm thinking these were old style jokes, but they weren't. Nobody did jokes like that, did they?
No.
People ask me, what if I stopped? Okay, I'm not going to get myself in a deeper hole, because I know what happens is if I get myself in a deeper hole, the whole show will be about me feeling bad about my mean thing that I said under the guise of being a character.
I'm glad you put the brakes on that then.
Oh, boy. If we had gone down that road, can you imagine?
Oh. What are you looking at?
Why do I feel like...
It's like a stranger just walked by your room or something.
All right. That's something, not to drop names, but that's something that Zach Galifianakis will do a lot. When it's one of his recurring bits, he'll say, how you doing, Josh? And he'll go... And he will do it for hours.
Yeah, as if he's mocking you talking, or just
it is
as if
kind
he's
of,
not
yes, it
listening.
is. It is a variety of what you're doing.
It's like Chevy Chase behind someone's back, that sort of.
I have to admit, that Chevy Chase thing is probably the quintessential, or the whatever it is, the prime example of that kind of comedy.
Yes.
He's the best at that.
He was in his day.
He was the best.
In his day, he was the best condescending douche in the business.
I don't think I'd ever seen that
when
done.
it was a funny condescending douche, as opposed to the condescending douche he became.
You want me to do my impression of the beginning of the show? Ready?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, Josh. I'm recording this.
Andy, put your phone down.
No, okay. I was doing an impression. What was the impression with the phone? Oh, no, Chevy Chase. That's right.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Well, I think you should take his penis out of your thing then. That's not what they say, right?
Little less nail on the head. Little less nail on the head.
Do you think that? Why did I think this would help?
I don't know.
Help at all.
Again, it's not a TV show we're on.
Yeah, Josh, I'm beginning to get a little, what's the word when over time period you get less and less confident that things are going to go okay?
Kindlering?
No, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And it's this middle where they go 86% chance they'll take back the House. Why do we have to have these douchebags telling us that the Republicans could win the House and the Senate? Why do we need that? We don't.
We don't.
We don't. You know what I'm taking? I'm doing a thing now where I go, I'm going to make a little mark on the page. Are you launching into one of your rants, Andy? Will Josh be able to help with this conversation?
It was truly comical how little I spoke last week, in the first hour especially. You made me have the rare sensation of actually missing the sound of my own voice when I was editing.
Is that what? That's why they said that on the online today, right?
Yeah.
Would you take out a lot of your stuff because I was so funny?
I stripped it right out.
Why did you do that? You had told a great anecdote about how you never forget to ride a bike. Remember that one? It's like riding a bike. I'm going to write 7 jokes.
I actually told Allison I don't want her to ride a bike anymore. Yesterday.
You don't?
I don't want. I know too many people, who have gotten so fucked up from bike accidents.
You don't want her though.
Yeah. It's not like I'm going to keep. It's not like I'm going to keep her.
Is she out there in the middle of the?
But she has a bike and talks about how she's going to get it fixed up and ride it. And I was watching the HBO Lakers series, and there's a scene where the coach gets into has a really bad bike accident, goes over the front of the handlebars, and it's really the way they shot it and edited it was really graphic. It was really visceral.
Oh my God, it's scary. Well, who was it? Paul? Who was it?
It was Jack, the guy who Paul Westhead replaced. Jack. I want to say Jack McKinney. Oh,
okay. Jack something like that. Yeah. I don't know if it's Jack. It probably is Jack McKinney because I can't remember the name.
And I've, like I said, I know probably a half dozen people who have had serious bike spills and fucked themselves up for months, if not permanently. It's just
that's the thing is that as I get older in life, I don't understand. It seems less. It seems more crazy to do any of those off-roading. I don't know how anybody ever survived any of those things without dying. Because off-roading, if you go off, you're going to hit a rock or you're going to hit. You don't hit a pillow when you go off-roading and you fall down, right? Or you have to wear a helmet, I guess.
Yeah.
Everything you have to wear a helmet.
Yeah, you should wear a helmet regardless.
We grew up. Well, maybe you didn't grow up, but I grew up where it was. You didn't know what would happen when you go out in the car. We didn't strap ourselves in.
Yeah.
We had on the back of the station wagon. We only had one station wagon. I'm surprised there weren't a lot of articles in the 50s saying people continuing to die every year. Lots of people die.
All right.
And then on the news, I heard you have a story tonight about cars and people when they stop and there's no restraint. Yes, I do.
I always liked how it's if you're in a station wagon and you're in the back seat, you wear your seatbelt, but it's if you're in the way back, free range. Everybody's just
Yeah, and it is amazing. I definitely can even right now see what that looked like when you had they have
Did you call it the way
now.
back when you were a kid, by the way?
No. I only knew the way back machine.
Yeah, that's a whole different ballgame.
But you know what? You may have had a higher class of, sophisticated friends.
Probably.
Well, I grew up in New York City.
Oh,
so
did you?
Yes, I grew up in Queens. Obviously, I had a lot of exposure to arts.
Cereals. Yeah. Lots of cereals in your life.
Did I tell you the time that they came over to my house? Oh, I may have told you that one. But did I tell you the time I was on the rocks? It was supposed to be Rocks and Minerals.
What?
But they put Alka-Seltzer. They did a 4-hour speech.
Teenage Rock Club.
They had to do a big speech because they were afraid I was going to go drop a dime on them. You know what I mean? The way they were talking to me.
Was there some sort of child slavery ring going on at this little?
What's that?
Was there some sort of child slavery thing going on this?
No. But I mean, they were going,
station?
look, Andy, sit down, Andy. They said to me, "Okay, look, we're just explaining to you. We can't make that sound on the air that you would hear. So we're going to. Are you going to cheat it?" I said to them. I was so fucking mad, I was sweating no. But I did feel like I was doing something wrong. But it was fun though. It was fun because the adults were in on it.
Only you could have Foley guilt.
No. Do you know what it is? I've realized that these things that I remember, all of the things, there's a thing that's in common with all of them. They're all people other than my parents who actually paid attention to me and made me feel like a human. I don't mean that. I don't mean like that. I don't mean my parents.
We talked about it. It made you feel heard.
Yes, that's right. With the cereal. What did you think of that cereal? What? You asking me? Yes, stupid. You're the only kid in the fucking house. Oh, so they had to take one guy.
Do you sure you want his take? He is an idiot.
I don't understand why they didn't choose Robert. Robert's 2 years older.
You'd make a fortune if you had his advice.
Oh, boy. The big thing in like my childhood, we were always supposed to be, like I always thought my dad was smart and I always thought my family was pretty smart. I don't know if you knew that, but I thought my dad was smart.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But it was always like, we always had these stories of your brother got the front of his tooth knocked out, that still is dead. The tooth is still dead, even though they replaced it 47 times.
Yeah.
We go to trial, we get a lawyer, boom. The Kindler family comes home with a check for $312 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
That couldn't be every family. That wouldn't have been your family. You had a lawyer in your family.
I did. And we were never embroiled in any sort of litigation as a family.
If you or your brother had been hit in the mouth with a baseball bat, I think you would have gotten a better settlement.
We had I had my front tooth knocked out or kind of shattered. There was a stump left by a frisbee by one of my parents' friends that threw it. So was he trying
to hurt you or no?
He felt completely guilty, I think, for years about it. And he was our insurance agent. So he had to also go, "Oh fuck."
You're lucky it wasn't me. I would have made you feel worse if I was your dad's friend.
Yeah.
I hit the kid. I hit Josh. Are you okay, Josh? Not really. I didn't mean to hit. It's not about you. It's not about you. Do you remember how much it hurt?
It hurt. It hurt pretty good. You can only. I found through my many sort of incidents in life that you can't actually remember pain. You can remember that it hurt like hell, but you can't.
I remember when they stuck that thing up my penis about a year ago.
Yeah, no, I mean, you remember.
Oh, I just felt it again.
Okay, see, I can't conjure the pain to make it hurt again.
I'm not making it hurt again either. I'm going all the way to.
Like you remember that it hurt.
Oh, but you don't imagine the thing.
But you can't remember
penis?
I can't remember the actual sensation always.
Wow.
I mean, I can with my back shit just because it's been persistent for 15 years or whatever. But
yeah.
But like when my colon burst, I remember how much it hurt, but I can't really, because like if you could actually feel it, you'd be feeling the pain again.
That's right. And that would be, you'd be too busy.
This is something that someone high would talk about, but.
Well, doing a show with me is like doing a show a little bit with somebody high.
A little bit.
Well, today I was
vague, tangential way.
Well, I was a minute late today because, I snorted the first half of the 10 milligram Adderall. It went down fine. Put a little water in there. And I snorted the other one. I was like, oh, it stings. He's going to yell at me.
You've made like 50 jokes about snorting Adderall over the last couple of months. Have you started snorting Adderall, Andy?
All right, let's just be honest about it. Look, it's a substance. It's a medication, correct? It's a medication. What's the bottom line? Got to get inside me. No one ever
doesn't say orally on the label. It just says take one per.
And here's the truth, Josh.
I'd like to hear the truth, Andy. For a change, bring it on.
I need to be up for the show. So why would I? You're saying, what's the point of taking a pill? I want to be up now. I want to say the greatest thing now. I don't think you could snort. People have snorted everything, right?
I'm sure.
You could snort everything, anything like. People have snorted Adderall. I'm sure.
I want you to say the sentence though. I am not snorting Adderall.
Okay. I am not. This is me. Is this me lying in the audition about telling the truth? I am not snorting. I am snorting. I mean, I'm not snorting. Why would I snort Adderall? Do you think I would want both of my nostrils to bleed at the same time, Your Honor? Just take him and shoot him. because he will never be able to be. I will never be able to be on trial for myself. Yeah. I'm not taking the stand in my defense.
All right. So you're saying you are snorting Adderall? Is what you're saying?
No, I've never snorted Adderall.
Okay.
I've snorted cocaine in my life, as you know.
I do know.
But I'm a little.
In fact, wipe your.
Is it okay now?
Andy, it was a cocaine joke, and you just looked in the mirror and wiped your face.
Because the idea of having something embarrassing on my face trumps all cocaine things.
Okay.
This was me in right at my guy at college.
Your gynecologist?
So I didn't do cocaine until I was out of college. What's that?
I thought you said I'm my gynecologist. But you said gynecologist.
What would you? I had a gynecologist. I had a gynecologist when I got to college first. This is a new form, I think.
Say.
What's that song? Say what you mean if you. It's Stevie Wonder. It's not from Intervisions.
It's not Stevie Wonder.
It is.
It
say.
Is not. It is not.
Okay, give me a clue.
Oh, no, that's
Michael
Prince.
Jackson.
Yes. Although I did it in Prince impression more than.
Let me hear it again.
That's a Prince.
Do you do a good Shumbo? I finally, after all these years, been able to separate the art and the artist, and
It's Paul McCartney.
Am I doing something?
I'm just saying it's Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson.
Why can't I hear you two? Maybe I should turn you up a little bit.
Maybe you should.
Oh, how about now?
I'd love to.
Stop it. Okay, can you tell me, be honest with me, the people can't see it, but tell me how my acting is. Say something a little bit loud.
You're an idiot!
Realistic? Not so realistic?
Andy Kindler, radio psych gag. Andy Kindler, radio psych gag.
You know what I was doing my impression of? Scanners. Was that with William Hurt, Scanners?
No, that was Altered States.
Which was a great movie when I saw it the first time. I bet it doesn't hold up, that movie. It might.
I haven't seen it since its day.
Isn't it? A guy goes into a class. John Houseman is the teacher. And no, but that was pretty scary because the face, went boop, 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 like that. All over the place.
Andy Kindler, radio psych gag. Andy.
You know what's amazing? Josh, I just want to talk to you about something today that I've been meaning to talk to you about a long time. When they say the difference between the two phones and improv, why is that any funnier than this? Why is this right, but that's wrong? Josh, you get what I'm doing here? I'm doing another radio bit.
You are. Now do some ventriloquism.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Shut up. Listen, microphone. I'll put you back in the mic stand case. Here, shut up. You suck. I hate your voice. Now look, Mr. Microphone. We've had a very good relationship to now. Don't you dare hit on me. I really enjoy this. I gave more money. Do you think this is psychologically based? I gave more money to the SAG and AFTRA Foundation this year than I ever have before.
Did you give him a nice chunk?
Can't even talk to you. I refuse to talk about any money with you because I know you're up into that thousands of dollars. You have there's a big dinner at the end of every year. Once again, we thank Josh Elvis Weinstein, who spent more money than he had on charitable events.
Indeed.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. Okay, good. I don't mind that misconception of me being out there.
Well, what are you saying? You think you do give a decent amount? You give well, how would you
give a nice chunk? I was rather shitty this past year.
Well, this was not a good year where was the show business this year?
Yeah. No, my big windfall this year was I got to amortize the massive bath I took on the Day Bar movie, and so it offset a lot of my tax liability.
Oh, so you do it over
failure bonus. I got me a failure bonus.
I hate to tell you this, Josh. There are a lot of people who would not know how to file for the failure bonus.
Yeah, well, that's why you got to get the right people on board.
Well, you must have read Francis Ford Coppola's biography of like.
Yes.
But I always admired the way he was. Like, to me, I
how
admired
to
him.
fail your way into a vineyard.
He was like I feel like was the kind of risk taking that was good. Well, I don't think he planned to have a shoot like Apocalypse Now, but
No, but I mean, he from the very beginning, including opening his own fucking studio, was willing to take giant risks in order to be happy doing what he's doing. So
and he's so
I
great.
respect the hell out of that. But
He's, I think, my favorite of those guys of this. No, they were all good.
What I don't respect, though, is going to fucking Vietnam or the Philippines without a script that's ready. I don't respect that move.
Well, how about the fact that didn't people die there too?
I think there was. I don't know who died on that set, but
Sheen almost died.
People wanted to.
I think Sheen had a heart attack. Or is it that, am I mixing up the?
No, he had a heart attack.
Plot. Oh yeah. God, I used to love Martin Sheen so much, and then my friends would make fun of me. They claimed that Martin Sheen was not a great actor. What do you think about? I mean, and they used to make fun. I would yell at them. What are you talking about? I go, Sheen, come on, he's over the top.
I think he's capable of both.
Right. But if you liked The West Wing, which I didn't,
I did.
You couldn't help but like him in The West Wing, right?
I absolutely
liked
him in The West Wing.
So now let's go over Emilio Estevez's.
But Sorkin wrote for him way the hell better than the John Wells regime.
What's that?
But Sorkin wrote for him way better than like he was a very good character to have Sorkin coming out of his mouth.
Oh, are you saying the show switched?
Yes.
To who?
To John Wells.
Oh, John Wells is he a producer in general of Cops kind of thing?
No, he did like ER.
Oh, and what happened there?
Well, Sorkin left.
Oh, cocaine. It was cocaine.
There was lots of cocaine involved, and there was just lots of putting the production up against the wall with how late scripts were coming, and lots of it was mismanagement.
But he seemed to write better back then.
Well, and everyone writes better when there's a lot of fucking pressure on them too.
I guess that's true.
Slower sometimes.
That is true.
But
yeah. You saw the whole run of that show?
Yeah.
And did it last good the whole run?
It didn't last good the whole run.
Oh,
but okay. The first, I liked it enough to stay with it because I was invested enough in the characters. But the voice really changed dramatically, I thought, once Sorkin left.
Oh,
there just wasn't a true sense of. There was a lot of character moves that characters made in the last couple of seasons that you go, no, that's not really true to what they'd established in the first 4 years.
Well, but he's not as good as he was then now, right? Because he seems to be a parody.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
let me finish. That's the kind of writing that there should be.
Well, I don't know that he's worse. I just don't think he's gotten better. You know what I mean? I think it's he recycles his own shit so much. But even back then he did.
Right.
But, it's like you apply it to some things and it works. It certainly didn't work with the Lucy and Ricky thing for me, but.
The Lucy and Ricky thing to me was aggressively too serious for the subject matter or something.
Yeah.
Because it.
And that, and there's that weird sort of, he has this weird mysticism about comedy that he used in that Studio 60 show too.
Yeah, because that's not how I don't know. I haven't been on SNL, but that's not how it's run. The way they walk, there wasn't that much walking and talking at SNL, right? And the one producer, isn't there a producer who's not even like a funny guy on there? He's like a showrunner. It felt like there were a lot of mistakes made in that show.
It didn't, regardless of the mechanics of it, even it was just like. The spirit of it just wasn't,
It was deadly serious. It would be like
no one's doing Gilbert and Sullivan opera jokes. Just no one's doing them.
I wish is that really true?
Yes.
I bet there was a Gilbert and Sullivan joke.
There's always Gilbert and Sullivan in it.
Well, look, I couldn't stand the one with Jeff Daniels. Now I don't know if it was Jeff Daniels or it was Sorkin, but god damn it, was that a bad show?
It was.
He took himself so seriously.
But at least the only reason it was better than Studio 60, which it wasn't by much, was that you can take pomposity in the newsroom a little more than pomposity in the comedy show,
True, and I even remember the opening episode. Does he take drugs or something? And he overtakes a pill and he starts talking too much at the first. How are you going to remember this?
I don't remember either.
There's no reason to remember it.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand, but I have to say that I don't know why I don't like Jeff Daniels, but I'm kind of sick of him. I mean, I thought he was good in terms of endearment.
Yes, he was.
I think he's probably good in many of the things he does, but too much of his own horrible. It's not horrible.
He was good as James Comey in that HBO, that Comey and Trump.
Oh, was that also a McKay thing?
No, that was Billy Ray, I think.
Oh, who played Cheney in the McKay thing?
Was it Josh Brolin?
I don't know. I never saw that. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a piece.
Did we have this discussion last week? I realized we had this.
We had an Adam McKay thing that I don't think we want to revisit.
No, we don't, because I remember how unpleasant I started to get. No, you know what the thing is? I've been thinking that people say they don't want us to fight, right?
Yeah.
Who wants to fight?
Yeah, it's not.
You
it's not
do
what
a
we're
goddamn
looking for.
podcast for 4 years and 5 years, and and tell me you're not going to have.
I think you were just.
fight.
I think you were just thrown by the fact that I spoke.
You spoke in one of the episodes? Not during the first part.
The Adam McKay thing was the first time I kind of went, hey, let's try to have an actual conversation about this, and it threw you off.
Well, you shouldn't have done that.
I know. I learned.
Oh? Well, I would like to say this about me. I'm a terrible person. I'm not a good. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go to that. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm okay. You're okay. I knew when that we were having that discussion last week that it wasn't going to go anywhere. For some reason,
it wasn't a fight, really. It wasn't
a fight at all.
It wasn't a well executed conversation.
I'll tell you why it could have been a fight. It could have been a fight because I felt myself getting mad at nothing.
Yeah. No, I felt it was like, you have a blurry line between I disagree with you and you're a bad person for thinking what you think. They are different. They are different things.
I was wondering. So, do you think that I'm saying, like I was saying, this guy sucks and you better agree with me? Is that the energy of it?
The energy of it was, this guy bugs me, therefore he sucks. And
but I don't think he does.
And I had to sort of push back on that sort of that train that was barreling down the tracks because I couldn't just sit there and go,
Okay, well let's not revisit the fight, but let's revisit the fact that I think what happens in general is I cross a line where I know that I'm saying very strong things about someone, so then I immediately start worrying that it's going to affect my business, but then I'm getting better at realizing he's fucking not going to use me.
You said like 3 times while you were doing it. Oh, great! Now he's not going to use me. But
he's not going to use me. He's not.
Right? No, probably not.
If I said to you, Josh,
you have no relationship with him. Why would he come to you now?
I have met him several times.
Well, met is not a relationship.
He's been very nice to me. Okay. I've done improv with him on something.
Yeah, and yet you think he's a dick. So
no. I want it to be that I haven't ruined my future work. That now is starting to get to become something in a wonderful way. Let that go, Andy. You can continue. If you want to continue to hate, do on the basis of that's going to affect future work. Let that go. He's not casting you. I don't think there's a part for 80-year-old men in one of his movies. Because the older guys are usually Cheney or they're a guy who doesn't look up. You know what else I realized about myself? It's like, I get to this. I don't think I've ever gone past this type of thing. What's this fucking asshole so excited about? That's how sometimes I look at Adam McKay, like an award show. Look at that fucking guy.
No, it's the same way you look at Paul Thomas Anderson. This fucking guy.
I hate that fucking guy. I hate the whole thing with those people.
And my point that I started to take up, and it didn't come off right, is that, if you can't dismiss directors for being arrogant because it is just a fucking arrogant thing to be.
Oh. I was going to
dismiss their work for being arrogant.
Right.
You can think they're dicks.
Here's what I was going to say, though, that I think that I had somewhat of a point to say, which was that it was kind of, and maybe it's a trite point. Nobody's going to tell those guys it's a fucking stupid idea. No one's going to tell him, someone said at dinner the other night, look up. And I said, that's it. At some point, someone's going to say,
are you quoting something that he actually said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is how the movie was made.
All right.
So they were They were having a discussion. He goes, then they all went, whoop. And I claim that is bullshit. That you do need someone. If I didn't have, or if you didn't have someone not afraid to give an opinion around you, I think it would be really bad.
But I don't understand what your problem is, that his press junket banter about the movie is bad. You know,
no. There's two issues. The one issue is the way I feel about when people are in suits and reacting to my father. I don't know what it is. It's not. It's all me.
Okay.
It's all me. It's all them. They're having a good time in an event. I wasn't invited to the event, and they're also acting like it's like they do it every day, right? So that's all bullshit. But the other part where anything gets green-lighted because this guy's considered to be a genius, I think is a disease in showbiz. That movie should never have been made. I know I'm getting too excited about it.
I just don't think that's true. I mean, you should see it before you say it shouldn't exist. Like, is it a good movie? Not really. You know.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Is there good stuff in it? Yeah. Is there like really heavy-handed bullshit in it too? Yeah. But there's both. You know, there's plenty of worse movies that should never have been fucking made than someone trying to go for a big idea.
I don't even think that's a big idea. I think it's just a stupid idea. You look up and all of it.
That's not what the movie is. It's not what the movie is.
Okay. Are you going to tell me if I watch that movie?
No, I would never tell you to watch this movie, but I tell you to stop.
From it. I've seen scenes from it, and it's awful. You have Meryl Streep saying this, and you got the other person saying that. I guess I really do hate those I really hate those kind of movies because they're like big budget. I guess if I hadn't heard them say, oh, and I said to the party, don't look up. I guess if I hadn't heard them say that, and then you know how hard it is to get anything made in Hollywood, but because he's successful.
Yeah, but it's not a zero-sum game. It's not like because he gets to make a movie, someone else doesn't.
Oh, yes. That's not true. No, you know that's not true. No. You don't think the same 7 people get used in everything?
Yeah, of course. But because they have track records of success.
No.
That's always been the case.
That. You don't believe that. You don't believe that Bradley Cooper is in every movie because he has a track record. They put him in the movies because they think it'll make the box office go bigger.
That's what a fucking track record is.
But that's not good.
I'm not saying it is. Are you believing in showbiz justice? Because you're a fucking idiot if you are.
Why would you call me an idiot now? This far in. We're only a half hour in. Give it 10 more minutes. All right, let's get out of this. Because it's not going to go well. You're not going to go well for another reason. Because I'll get steamed for no reason this week.
All right.
People don't need it. Let's see. I know you actually agree with me with what I'm saying, but I don't think you do agree with me. I don't think you are into this business is. I think maybe it's good that I'm not doing the speech anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm so glad about not doing the speech. I hope nobody's upset about it, but I couldn't be happier about it. I don't want to be at 90 years old in a fucking hotel convention room in Montreal.
Yeah, I am coming at it completely differently from you because I'm not angry about show business.
Yeah.
I don't, I kind of have known it's fucked the whole time. And so,
but you
I'm
have
just trying
to
to find my little thing to get through it all. But
right. But I don't want to go to the point where I say that was a bad thing. I loved that I did that speech. I don't think it was a bad thing.
No.
But that whole thing.
No, I'm not talking about the speech. I agree that. Whatever. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you.
I think I've always had a problem with talking about the person this whole issue has always been a horrible issue for me. I think I learned a lot from it over the years. But now if I keep going back to the same it's going to look like an older guy it's not fun anymore.
Right. No, I agree. You stretched the moment for a quarter century and I don't mean stretched it beyond its life. But It was a hell of a run, is my point.
I think I'm getting to that point where 5 or 10 years from now, when there's no more TV, and then all of a sudden, if you had been here in the 90s, you would have heard me do this.
Well, and I don't mean it as a slam, but when part of what made it exciting, the speech, was the danger of it, which is you were a working guy burning bridges at the same time, and now you're a little past your working peak. And then now it seems more bitter than it was at the time, And, and you can't do it without it being kind of a these kids thing anymore either, because
No.
you know. And I say that from my perspective, not just yours. You know,
the only dangerous things go on was that I know that I'm making the idea of bombing more and more possible, and also just the idea of no. It's just I've said it already. I'm not a young kid going to a festival, and I don't care about the young kid old thing. It's like comedy festivals. They used to be that I spent so much time talking about that festival, and that festival I think is just a festival now. Right. I mean, I'm not even saying about the festival. I'm just saying, like, if you had told me 4 years ago, don't do this, I wouldn't have understood
20
what
years
you said.
20 years ago, the Montreal Festival was a much more exciting thing to attach yourself to.
Yes.
Or be attached to.
Even though there was everybody made fun of it back then.
Yeah, but it was still
like,
a vital part of the comedy calendar.
And now it can't be.
It's not, no.
Well, there is no comedy calendar, I think.
I don't think there is.
I mean, because, well, do you think that means that there won't be, well, it used to be HBO and it used to be JFL were the only two people who would do a yearly thing?
What, the
like
Aspen?
Aspen. Yeah. But Aspen never really, I mean, I never went there, but it always seemed like a weird match of this ski town with show business stuff.
Right. Well, but that's the Sundance formula as well.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Is it wrong that when a person I didn't like, no, I'm not going to say it.
No, come on.
Okay, someone I didn't like broke his or her leg, and they were very mean to me in business.
Yeah.
And they broke their leg at one of the Aspen things.
Yeah. Skiing.
And I chuckled. I chuckled a little bit.
Good. I think that's all right. I mean, if they would have gone full Sonny Bono, it wouldn't have been cool, but...
I miss Sonny Bono a little bit. Cher was very upset when Sonny died.
She was.
Remember that?
Yeah, I could, you know. Were you surprised by that?
No. What happens is I see everything as if I was in that situation. So I loved Sonny and Cher. So a lot of my life I would spend hoping Sonny wasn't as fucked up as he seemed to be.
Yeah.
Because I was like, look, he's just got different points of view. Yeah. But there's no this or that when it comes to those kind of ideas. You know, you're either for the war in Vietnam or you thought it was good. You know, it's like I don't know where he was coming from, but I always tried to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because he was a great singer. I just never could put together, how can you be a great singer and then vote for Nixon? It's like ridiculous. I mean, that I had those things. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of weird.
Right.
I really do believe that
you're all really or nothing. You are the king of black and white.
I'm trying to transition out of it.
Well, it's a very cemented thing in your thing. If there's one thing bad about something, then everything is.
Well, it's funny because I think I told you that, not Sharpton. No, it was, Jesse Jackson who, I love.
Have a little trouble telling him apart, Andy.
Yeah, man, I can't, no way I can come back from that one. Which black person or fellow was it? Now you took the steam out of it for me. You made me forget my bon mots.
Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, my parents were like, all I heard, I think I've said this a million times, all I've heard about was, Jesse Jackson, on the day that, he didn't even get blood on him. It's like, I love Jesse Jackson, and things I didn't like about him. But my parents were like, you cannot like JFK. You can't like him. Not my mother, not so much.
You can't
my
like
father
JFK?
Was like, my father felt that my father was very cynical and felt that JFK was a big phony and whatever the thing was. He didn't like what JFK did with why would he, was it the cheat? Maybe he thought he stole Chicago. My family has never not voted Democratic, so that's not the point.
All right.
But the point was that they had these strong ideas that Jesse Jackson was either good or he was bad. Yeah. And that's just fucked up. It's fucked up. I mean, it wasn't like my mom and dad would go, we have mixed feelings about Martin Luther King. Right. But it was just, there was Martin Luther King, Gandhi, or like two other people, and then everybody else you couldn't get excited about.
Right.
I love JFK. And I was made to feel in my family, why would you love him? I mean, I don't love him, but I love the idea of JFK. Sure. I love that I was 7 when he was
Right.
Not I love Clint Eastwood, but
I just love that they were trying to kill your enthusiasm for the president.
well, they didn't really. It was very much a weird thing because when I was campaigning for Humphrey and they were all for McCarthy.
Yeah.
They did make me feel like
as
I
a
was
Minnesotan, God bless you, by the way.
Because he was the one that would have been good, right?
Because he's from Minnesota.
Oh, that's right. You have so many great people from Minnesota. I mean, Mondale they were all great people. But Humphrey, if Nixon hadn't made a deal with the North Vietnamese, which they pretty much think he did, he probably would have lost Nixon. You know, he made a deal a back channel deal not to do something with one of the offensives.
Yeah, the Paris Accords he was trying to stave off, I believe.
Oh, that's right. With Johnson, right?
Yeah.
That's what made Johnson lose in a way that
Johnson didn't lose. Johnson didn't run in 1968.
Right. But what I'm saying is not Johnson, but Johnson had a call with Nixon. He goes, if I find out you're doing this, it was the same year. It was the same year.
Yeah, no, it was Johnson was president and Johnson did call, yes.
Yeah, okay. But it's like
Johnson. I'm just saying Johnson didn't lose the election,
right? Because he didn't. I will not run. I will not seek. I used to fascinate.
I will not seek, nor will I accept the nomination.
I know, but it was like a weird thing where if you heard that just at the age where you were still a kid, for the next couple of years, I kind of said that in every format.
Yeah.
I will not eat the dessert if the dessert is fed to me. I will not accept the dessert because it was such a weird. Must have been.
I do not seek, nor will I accept this C-.
Also, it seemed like everybody back then said, "My fellow Americans, my fellow Americans." Oh God, I think I'm maybe dying. Maybe if you die, is this what happens? You get you get like teary eyed. Remember when Humphrey ran?
Hi, Jack Kennedy.
I also loved Robert Kennedy in 1968 for a brief period. And then my parents didn't like him because they thought he was an opportunist who came in to fuck up Eugene McCarthy.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing that would happen in my family. Black and white.
All right.
McCarthy was right. Bobby Kennedy was just trying to get in there and he was doing it for the wrong, McCarthy for the right reasons. But why was I the only house that had this strong?
I don't think you were.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't a fly on the wall of the 60s, but.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right that it was in many families. Well, no, there were not in many families. We were all against the war. It's so amazing. Like,
well, I think there was plenty of families where the kids were against the war, the parents weren't.
Right. Well, my parents were against the war. So, I mean, that part would have been probably a lot harder to deal with. Parents who agreed with Nixon or,
right.
I never had parents like that, so I should be thankful.
Right. It kept you out of Woodstock.
Oh.
I know.
How'd they keep me out? Oh. I was too young.
Yes. I'm just saying those were the kids who were there.
Right. That's true. True. But I just started to think wistfully again. I'll never not think wistfully about the 60s, even though I intellectually know that it was the 60s were less the 60s for real, and they were more of a fantasy for me.
Yeah.
Well, why should I? I don't want to poison it. It's nice.
No, absolutely. Luckily, you were a child.
Yeah, well, I mean, also, I didn't know about that Haight-Ashbury until I was older anyway. I didn't know that it was all fucked up over there.
At least you can idealize something about your childhood.
Why, it wasn't, why am I saying it was, everything was great. Now, why am I selling it poorly?
I don't know. You sound like a Jewish Oliver Twist from what you've told me.
Well, is that, give me some more, guy?
Yeah, he was the poor Victorian orphan.
No, my parents, first of all, salt of the earth. Get off their back already, Josh. Let them be. It is weird, though, that now that my parents aren't here, I do feel like all comedians must feel like that you do have a little more material to do. Because I could do jokes that are not exactly about my parents.
Well, you can do jokes that you aren't worried would get back to your parents, for sure.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. But that was a big thing, I think, was the idea that they were still alive and I didn't want to talk about them.
Yeah, I got the green light from my mom when I was about 18, maybe. I was just like, I asked her permission to talk about something. She's like, talk about whatever the fuck you want. I think she literally said, whatever the fuck you want.
I made fun of my mom, but in a friendly way by doing impressions of her and stuff.
Both my wife and mother are self-absorbed enough to really like being talked about in my act.
That's going to come back to bite you.
No.
My wife.
No, it will not.
Because she doesn't hear it.
She likes being talked about on her podcast, too.
Oh boy, we are funny people when you think about it.
Though?
Are you talking more now?
I'm talking more than last week. That's for fucking sure. And you're talking less, which is what makes it all possible.
See, I thought it was like, I was like, when is this guy going to shut up last week? I was like, let me get a word in here. Let me get a word in edgewise.
I do notice that when I talk for too long, you start looking in the mirror. So
I can't look at the mirror. Was that last week, you mean?
No,
I can't see the mirror right now.
Right.
But no, but I'm so sensitive. I can't take that joke and laugh because I think you're secretly saying.
I know that's part of the fun for me.
But why am I not getting better? Why am I not getting thicker? I know the truth is I am thicker skinned.
You're pretty thick skinned.
I am one of the
I throw a lot of shit your way that you take pretty well.
I think I went from one of the worst people in the world, like maybe the disgusting person you wouldn't want to see on the street, to a person who, if everyone was out of town and you couldn't have a friend and you needed to be, it wouldn't be bad to maybe see me from a distance.
Yeah, I think you're there.
How many times have you been to our favorite cafe, which I have not been back to? It's not our favorite cafe.
What's our favorite?
Our breakfast place.
Just once.
Oh, I thought that you've had several things where you've already gone out completely back into the world, and you had parties, and you had you were playing tug of wars, and you were swimming with people, and then it went away, and now. But you're saying you've always been you're still pretty much at arm's length from everybody.
Well, I was arm's length from everybody like 3 years ago. So why this is,
Well, also, my theory is that you're tall. You have a better chance of not getting COVID.
That's a really smart theory.
It's not smart. You do a lot of good, different versions of sleeping on me.
That was actually choking on ignorance, I think is what I was doing there.
I like that.
No, I still, I do stuff, but it's not like I'm, like I have a lunch next week. I have, physical therapy a couple times this week. I have different, there's things I do go do now.
Well, I'm doing that too.
But it's not radically more than I would have done pre-pandemic.
Well, I stopped.
Or radically less.
Well, I stopped during the variant seeing doctors. Now I'm going back.
Yeah.
And, I just feel tremendous relief knowing that my life is changed. Like that I'm not obligated to go on the road.
Yeah. Good.
It's really great. And I think I could spend the next couple of years just shoving it down everyone's throat. Guess who doesn't have to go on the road? Why am I saying I don't have to go? Rich. I still can't believe there's a Rich Brotherton. It doesn't seem right to me. I mean, it doesn't. It seems perfect.
I think there's also an Andy Suckleteat.
What's that mean? You lost me.
Andy Suckleteat. Suckling at the teat.
What is the teat that I'm suckling on?
Your brother's money.
Oh, I didn't get the image. I was off of him.
Oh, man.
He's not a woman. He's not my mother.
You said Rich Brotherton the sentence before I said it.
Yeah, but he's not feeding me through his breast.
He is metaphorically.
Oh, and the thing is, 1 year before he gave me money, he made me suck at his teat.
Yeah.
And I thought that was...
I mean, if you prefer like a baby bird being fed with an eyedropper, you go with a different metaphor, but...
Do you know who these cute little birds are? I was hoping you could help me with this. Are they wrens? They're all over the place.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, and they're cute. Are
you seeing them after getting hit in the head?
I'm also hearing this. I can't whistle. Can you whistle for me? It probably didn't help mental illness in this country that it was depicted on cartoons for so long. You know what I mean? A waka waka waka. Woo!
It's true.
And he's a little bit, and just the whole idea that our society, just like he's a little bit woo. And they're even worse like that in England, I think. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
How they're just, there's a strong string of cruelty.
There is a nasty judgmental streak that runs throughout the British Isles. Absolutely. I've learned this through my wife's many relatives throughout the British Isles, too.
Well, I read a thing in New York this last week about how Britain has gotten off the hook historically in terms of being, they don't talk about them being as much, even though they were imperialists, they usually tend to talk about Germany in the last century, or they talk about Stalin in Russia.
Yeah.
But they don't talk about what are we talking about?
The British Empire.
Yeah, they did that. So this one historian is trying to almost like single-handedly change that historical look that the British were. They're kind of nicer about everything.
Yeah.
About. I mean, they certainly got away from slavery before us, but they were very, very irresponsible imperial power, just like the others.
It's true.
But kudos to them in a way, because my whole life I thought that they were just more reasonable, but they weren't. That was a societal thing.
The sun never sets on Andy's delusions.
What does that mean? Does that mean that I will always be stupid?
No, just delusional. Different.
Oh,
different thing. It was a reference to the British Empire.
Oh,
the sun never sets on the British Empire.
Ah. Well, the other thing they're saying is, which I know you know this, and everybody, it's just the fact that you're a small island trying to control this whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Starts to get. Also, Portugal is not supposed to have been that nice, and the French.
All right.
In Algeria.
Have you ever heard Randy Newman's "The Great Nations of Europe" song?
No, I must have. That's not the "Boom Goes London" that thing.
No? It is not. No.
Oh.
It's just look it up. I'm not.
What is it? What album is it on?
It's on Bad Love, I believe.
Okay, I let my
Randy Newman subscription lapse.
No, I was like, so. Well, this is in general is that I was locked into, not like you were with Elvis, but over my life I've been locked into one artist for a few years. Like Talking Heads or whatever. You get into it big time.
You sort of obsess or become compulsive about it.
I still have problems because I'm slightly, I think, as a person, dyslexic. I still have a problem understanding the difference between the obsession and the compulsion.
Yeah.
The obsession is you think obsessively, and the compulsion is driving around the block a million times.
Yeah, I was about to say, I believe the obsession is the thought while the compulsion is the behavior.
Exactly. And for some reason, it's
probably not quite that simple, but
right.
That's how I like to think about it.
In your practice?
In my little personal PDR.
I've seen a lot. Go ahead, ask me anything now. I've seen a lot of from our neighborhood. That Van Nuys Park. Oh man, that's huge. That park is so huge.
I thought you were talking last week. I thought you were talking about the Sepulveda Basin. You're just talking about the park.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking about the park that's where the soccer fields are.
Yeah,
that's huge. That would be the size of every recreational area in Queens. There was nothing. We didn't have that kind of space.
Well, yeah, because it started with people, and it was. Yeah, it's 200 years older.
I know. This must have been like not that long ago. People were like, "Hey, whatever you want. No one lives here." I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
It was all farmland less than 100 years ago.
Or that Warren Zevon could say, if you don't watch out, you'll end up in the valley someday.
Yes.
Even that isn't. Well, people still make fun of I'm living in the valley, so I can't make fun of it.
I remember as a kid getting yelled at by someone in Malibu. Someone drove by and went, "Go back to the valley!" Like it was the worst.
Go back to the valley. And just the idea that the worst thing would be to live even where like Studio City. They would go, "What are you living over there for? You could be in regular Hollywood."
I loved it immediately when I got here.
Yeah.
I didn't love it, but I just liked it. As a place to live, it was just so much easier than everywhere else, it seemed like. And all my friends had settled here, so.
Yeah. The time period when Warren Zevon was singing that song was Sentimental Hygiene was like early 80s or late 70s or something like that.
Probably early 80s,
Yeah.
mid-80s.
So even then, I guess when I first moved out here, now the entire area is cosmopolitan and sophisticated.
Yeah, you can tell by all the signs you read.
I do love where we live. I don't want to get. I don't want to get.
I've been here for near 30 years,
and the air is cleaner. Do you think that's right?
No, I don't think so. No. Especially since we live near two of the busiest freeways in the world.
Yeah, I went one statement too far.
You really did.
Otherwise, though, now it's my 20th year wedding anniversary, so we may do something special this year.
We said this last week. Have you come to any ideas?
I may be going. We may go back to where we got married. I was thinking
San Diego-ish.
No, but the hotel.
Yeah,
I thought that would be a fun thing.
Sure. Yeah, it'd be nice for you guys to get a chance to spend some time together.
What? That didn't sound right. Yeah, I mean, like a little alone, like me and her time is what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So you're making it sound like it's mockable. There's nothing,
There's nothing mockable about it. It's just I was mocking the pandemic, really, is what I was mocking.
Oh, yeah, that is really... I think now maybe I've gone completely crazy because I've never been happier and everything's nice.
I know I have a few friends who are sort of like very pro-pandemic lifestyle.
But you're
not pro-pandemic. They aren't wishing for people to die,
right.
But they do like the whole separatist thing.
Yeah. Well, also a way of learning, hopefully going forward, that you should see your friends more. You should, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to do that, do it. Whereas I think we did take that for granted, maybe before the pandemic, that we would all be hanging out at each other's houses with our horrible fluids coming out of us. How great is it? I feel like it's amazing that I'm not washing off all of my boxes and things. That seemed like a major part of the pandemic I hated.
Yeah, I never did.
You never did it that much, right? So you got very quickly off of, you just didn't think you were going to get it from your hands touching a surface. Because it was so respiratory.
I just realized this just isn't going to happen. And I'm going to open things and I'm going to wash my hands.
See, that's where sometimes you're having a normal, reasonable background. Almost all the time it's an advantage.
Well, it's it's the benefit of having a mother that worried about everything and a father that worried about nothing. Somewhere in the middle is where you're going to land.
Well, so your mother did bring some of the energy that my family had.
My mother was one of the great worst case scenario stylists of all time.
So did she say? Because my parent was like, "Oh no, what now?" Every time there would be a sound or anything. So that always made me think something bad was going to happen.
No, it wasn't so much. She didn't always think things were going wrong. She thought things were going to go wrong. If you can feel the distinction, it wasn't a constant state of crisis. Right. It was a constant state of potential crisis.
Yeah, I can see that. That's definitely.
And it wasn't even crisis. It was my mom's strategy was to be prepared for
that's any right. As opposed to my mother who would like, we're done, we're sunk, and that's it.
That's why, she had like 17 different over-the-counter medications in her purse and Kleenex and, in case I might get hot. I might get ba-ba-ba. I might get ba-ba-ba. I might get ba-ba-ba. I might get ba-ba-ba. I might get ba-ba-ba.
So you could grow up.
And her response was to prepare for all of those things.
And so did you grow up not worrying about those kind of things?
Well, no. I mean, no. I grew up telling my mom, "Stop putting your fucking worrying on me. I'm not worrying."
That makes sense.
In various forms. I didn't say it that directly, obviously, but it was, It was. So her pattern with me was always, "You might want to. You might want to put on a bra." That way she wasn't telling me what to do, and I caught on to that very quickly, and I would just go, "Yeah, I might," and then I'd walk out. And she was fine with that. We got to a point where she was fine if I acknowledged having heard what she said.
Yeah.
Without actually responding to it physically. Not, I'm not saying getting physical.
Right.
Without actually heeding what she was saying. I could let her know that it was heard but not heeded.
Well, your father was like my father in the sense that my father would never, like he would not want to hear that the car wasn't fixed. He would want to hear there was something with the car because that meant he had to fix it and he didn't want to hear about any problems. But your dad was more like late on everything but didn't care necessarily.
Yeah, it was always on a need to fix basis.
Right. Where that made sense because he knew
like an extreme need to fix.
Oh, so he pushed it.
Yeah.
Right, but my dad was like, it was a no-win situation. You can't tell him there's a problem with the car because he doesn't want to hear it, but then you can't take the car out and have something happen to it without having told him about it.
Right.
So don't take the car.
So don't fuck up the car is really the message.
That really is the message. I was amazed though how many, I think I told you this before, my friend from camp, summer camp, who was this really big guy, and he was like so scared of his father because he slept at my house, and then he went to drive home and he ran over this one thing near my neighborhood where if you don't see it, you can run right over and he did his front and back tire were completely punctured, and he was freaking out almost as bad as I would freak out.
Yeah.
I go, he's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to, and this is this big, strong guy. Well, I don't know why I always thought like only I was, scared because I was small.
Right.
But how scared.
But every kid is small compared to their parents.
Yeah.
To a certain point, and then you tower over them and they become the scared ones.
Well, it's just that he was like, I guess I was always surprised when people seemed like at camp to be such a strong, he's like 18 or whatever, such a strong presence, nothing bothered him. But then you see like everybody's scared of their parents and everybody is, most people are traumatized in some way, either normally or not normally. I'm not sure what I'm saying now. I think I think I went too far. Not in terms of the discussion, but in not knowing what I'm going to say now.
Well, that's okay, Andy, because I'm afraid our time is up.
Don't you?
I'm so happy.
It's all love, right, folks? Come on.
This is a song that Tommy and me and Josh wrote. It's not that I hope you're gonna come back to drink that extra cup of coffee that I made. It's just a force of habit. You're it strange that I stay home every evening, engaged in conversation we might make? It's just a force of habit, dear. Your habit I can't break. Your habit I can't break. Your habit I can't break. Thank you.
There's nowhere I could have started yet, Andy. I could not have started the show yet
How come?
because it's all you futzing.
Futzing.
I'm not
Futzing.
going to put 5 minutes of futzing on this program.
No.
So we're
I'm
starting
proud-
now. We're starting now.
Starting now.
Okay, now, I had something. I was onto something.
No, you weren't.
Are you
You're
sure?
absolutely not onto anything.
Can I ask you a question, Josh? Would it be good to invest time in trying to think of what I was saying, like a desperate, needy man? What was it? No.
No.
All right, you don't have to get mad at me this quick. Wait 5 minutes.
I'm not
You
mad.
can always wait 5 minutes.
I'm not mad. I'm just off put.
disappointed.
I'm just off put.
Okay. I'll tell you though, I think I discussed this with you maybe already with the Chris Rock thing. I had a really great session with my therapist, and I said to her, in essence, I have the Chris Rock thing, which is the nonverbal dyslexia kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because my mom you never could read her. 90% of the time 95% of the time, I misread every reaction face.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's necessarily the same thing as Chris Rock.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm just trying to. I'm
because
just trying, it was
we
a nice
know
way
we
to-
know why it's happening to you. Because you are registering it as you are spinning every facial expression as how is this against me?
Right. So it's almost the same. In effect, it's the same condition. He literally
Like if
has
Will
a
Smith
physical thing.
Yeah, like if you would have gone the other way. If Will Smith was coming up to shake your hand, you would think he was coming up to slap you.
Oh yeah.
So total
wouldn't have been
opposite
there.
of Chris
No,
Rock.
they would have had to stop tape. Where did Chris Rock go? I don't know. He ran towards the back. I'm not comparing myself to Chris Rock, but if it could happen, I would take the switch right now.
Sure. I think
Yeah.
we'd all take that switch.
No, we
even with
wouldn't.
the
You wouldn't.
slap.
I would want because I'd be concerned. Well, is that the level of material I'll be coming up with? Hey, your wife looks good. Was G.I. Jane a 30-year-old movie
Yeah,
number
but
7?
Has there ever been a better wake up call for a weak joke?
As we've gone along since that time period, since it happened, I really kind of feel like not bad. I feel bad for everybody concerned.
Yeah.
But I find Will Smith, I'm worried about him. Why am I worried about him?
I
What's
don't
he,
think you need
like
to
the Bob
worry about
Odenkirk
him.
joke? What am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, if he's crazy, it didn't just happen.
That's true. And my thinking about it is not going to change who he is.
Yeah.
Or me loving him more or not loving him more.
Yeah, I don't think the cosmic.
that's what a
I don't think the
narcissistic person
cosmic
thinks.
lines are quite that direct.
But that's what narcissistic people think. Look, I don't know what to think about Will Smith, but I'm coming to a decision and that will change the entire world.
Right. There's two kinds of modern narcissism, which is the world needs my immediate take, and the world will have waited for my take.
Well, I made a breakthrough this week that I'm sure everybody's made this breakthrough. So it was one of those tweets that was obvious, but
I know that if it involved a tweet, it wasn't a real breakthrough, Andy. Sorry, go ahead.
I work off of notes. Not only do I work off of notes, I work off of my voice now. I realized I keep telling myself, why don't you use the voice memo, you fucking idiot? That's what I talk to myself. Hey, schmuck face. I remember what I was going to
Feed
say.
mayonnaise to tuna.
Still a classic. I remember what I was going to say now, and I just forgot it in the moment that you said it.
Sorry.
What
Voice
was it?
memos. Voice memos. It was all. Listen to me. It was all about voice memos rather than writing notes. That's
Thank you.
Yeah.
But seriously, I normally think you're so annoyed. Not annoyed. It'd be like with working with the same dementia patient
that's the one. That was the back when we had our little rift and we had our long talk. The one thing I definitely came away with was that I need to be more patient with your memory lapses. And
wow.
I feel like I've held that up. I feel like I've held up my end of the bargain on that.
Oh, I think you've been very, very nice about it.
Because you felt attacked. You felt like I was using it as annoyance fodder.
Yeah, because here's the way it sounded like to me. That one is from 4 months ago when they were talking about shoes and you brought up you put your shoes in your head.
Yeah, I've tried.
I'm not going to even tell you
very hard. I've tried to be Lady Gaga to your Liza Minnelli.
To my Liza Minnelli. The one thing that was very cute about that I could relate to was when Lady Gaga made a big sound and she went, ah! And then Liza just kind of copied. She went, ah! It was kind of cool. If it is cool, if it's not sad.
If there's a combination between the two, it was that.
It was more pleasant than watching Jack Palance do push-ups, and he was all there.
Agreed. Because he didn't seem to have any joy in his push-ups.
Do you think Billy Crystal covered it enough? You could see him like feverishly with all his notes. No,
yeah.
I don't miss him anymore. Oh, someone was telling me, I was listening to Tom Scharpling's audiobook, and he was talking about the time that, I guess I never saw the time when Billy Crystal did a whole really insulting jazz man, like concert almost, the jazz man guy, like the Black Street voice guy. And he said it was unbelievable. It was like, it could not happen today even.
Right.
It couldn't have happened, but I don't know what he's referring to exactly.
I don't exactly either.
Yeah. You're back in my area.
Again, Andy.
What?
If you get the impression right, you're still.
I got it wrong.
Yes.
Well, it's kind of like his Muhammad Ali a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, but at least his Muhammad Ali was sort of sanctioned by the family.
He also has he's a decent impressionist, don't you think? You're better.
I don't think.
Why am I comparing? You don't even want to be a professional. It's like the most insulting, condescending thing. You're better than him. Who cares? You're better than him.
I have never, ever called myself an impressionist to anybody ever.
That's right. No, you are better than, you're not better than an impressionist. Although I did hear George Kirby, and it wasn't very good. Have you ever heard George Kirby? I mean, it was okay. Yeah. He was like, and now Sammy Davis Jr., wow, how much time it to the bottom of boo. That was basically it.
No, I believe every impression is a party trick.
Even Frank Gorshin?
Yes.
See, I always think, Frank Gorshin, well, you're not going to start on Rich Little again, are you? Because that was a man who brought himself to the thing.
Yeah.
He turned every impression into his voice.
I believe there are great impressionists in the world.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
David Fry was good at one point.
Yeah, Josh Robert Thompson is a current one who is tremendous.
Oh, and Adomian, but Adomian's beyond.
Yes.
He's beyond.
Adomian has both.
Yes.
Has both the great ear as well as the comic chops to make it.
Yeah, because
to elevate it.
Right, because he hates some of these politicians. He doesn't hate Bernie Sanders, but he hates some of these politicians so much that he's able to. I guess he loves Jesse the Body, though, in a way. I guess you have to kind of love the guy you're doing.
I'm from Minnesota. I gotta love him a tiny, tiny bit too.
What did you think about the big when Garrison Keillor and Jesse the Body were facing off? Remember they had a big feud.
Hey, little man. Oh, hello there, Jesse the Body Ventura. Hey, little man, you get the hell out of my town. All righty, I'm moseying out of town.
What was Garrison Keillor's gripe with him? Oh, he probably was a terrible governor.
Yeah, oh, sure.
I forgot that he shouldn't have been governor.
He was the clown prince of governors, for sure.
Who would be better, Arnold Schwarzenegger or him?
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger proved to be better than him.
Yeah, because he has actually
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
soul.
while Republican, wasn't the
Yes.
worst governor we had by a long shot.
No, Jesse the Body.
I mean, I'm not pro Schwarzenegger as governor. Just let me get that on the record. But
No, but we don't.
But
I know what you're
coming
saying.
off Gray Davis, he actually had. I think he moved the needle in
Gray
a better
Davis
direction
was a
than
horrible
Gray Davis.
man he was. horrible grayish man. But Jesse he brought that conspiracy theory thing
Yeah.
to politics, which never is going to end well.
Yeah,
although
that was more post office, not post office. But
Oh, it
more-
was?
yeah,
Really?
The conspiracy part of him was more.
I didn't know that.
That,
I
that
guess
was more him trying to find a brand after the governorship.
And then wasn't he also involved in? And here it's a good documentary. Is that Peter Thiel thing or where he was in a lawsuit?
No, that was Hulk Hogan.
Oh God, can you imagine me 10 years from now? Because now you can get into it. You go, I think he's going here. I'll ask him.
Uh-huh.
But 10 years from now, it was like, shoes were always used as kittens.
Yes,
Right?
Andy, yes.
What do you gain from just agreeing with me? Oh, we're not doing a podcast. You're just visiting.
Because I've learned when I've talked to, it's a lot easier to go to yes and a patient like that than it is to try to correct them constantly.
Well, I'm
There's
sure
no win in trying to shake them back to reality.
And in fact,
There is a massive crow directly outside my window. A little distracting. I think it's an omen.
They
of
are
death.
huge,
I'm
right?
gonna die right now. Thank you very much.
Well, they're not going to come in though, right?
No, but it's an omen. Let's be literary about this, Andy. I'm a dead man.
Well, also, isn't there someone buried underneath your floorboards? Knock, knock, knock. What does he go? Bang, bang, bang. Here it is. Edgar Allan Poe. Bang, bang, bang. I heard him scratching. The apparition from below the boards.
Clang,
Who is
clang,
it there?
clang went the dead guy. Honk, honk, honk went the corpse.
I love that. Ted Talhart was my favorite one, and that's all I read by him.
Yeah.
I was fascinated at age 14 by it, or 12, whenever it was.
Well, you can understand the idea of lingering guilt for.
As soon as you said that, that's exactly how I took it. The OCD nightmare is the telltale heart. Did I bury someone under the floorboard? What are you talking about? Well, I'm reading this Edgar. How would you have gotten? I don't know.
Fuck, I just had a really panicky moment because the cord was covering the record light.
Don't panic from that. It's going to happen again.
It might happen
And we're going
again.
to have to redo it.
It's true.
Yeah. But you see, you're well adjusted because you're not scared that I'm going to kill you. Like I would be scared you would kill me.
I have a real grasp of the stakes, I think, when it comes to the podcast.
But I think it's short. I think again, it's short man's problem too. I'm a
Yeah.
short man, and I'm always thinking it could go to that level. And if it goes to that level, nothing I can do.
Yeah,
I'm
you know
dead.
you know what I find the biggest short man problem is? I can't reach that thing.
Yeah,
I wish I could reach that.
This was unbelievable. You yelled at me once. I said, "Josh, can you come over? I can't reach a pillow." You said, "I'm not coming over. I have to get a pillow." Would you stop calling me 8 times a day and get one of those reach
Have
things?
Susan do the little interlocking hand step thing. Have her put her fingers together and you step up into her hands.
She won't let me step on the stepladder anymore. Who is this guy? It's like a Simpsons character. Yeah. They don't come to me for the Simpsons characters.
No, they don't.
Have you been in the Simpsons? No, right?
You played the 7-Eleven guy, a Jew.
All right, Eddie, don't overlap. What is that? What does that gain me? He likes you? You don't have to butter him up at this point. Oh, I finally remember what I was going to say before. It was
good.
My other podcast is Futzing with Andy Kindler. That's what was hilarious to me that I was so upset that I forgot was that horrible one-liner.
Futzing with Andy Kindler?
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
what do you gain from that? Nothing.
That is 20 minutes ago now, I think.
But you know what? Things are going much, much better for me.
Yeah.
Josh. I like jokes like that. Should we go right to the questions or I'm ready. I'm ready now where my mind's here.
All right.
I'm
well,
alert.
Then I would be a fool to steer us any other direction.
time for questions. What do you want to know? We love your questions so much. It's half our show. Half our show.
Pickle says, do you think historical Jesus was a sexual person? And if so, what do you think he was into? Why don't you take this, Josh? And you could talk about Jesus make jokes about Jesus' sex life.
He definitely was into topping from the bottom.
This is going to end. We're going to lose the one Christian fundamentalist who likes the show. I love Jesus. I think Jesus was a hot guy. I would have slept. I don't know why I'm saying this. I would have slept with him. I would have followed.
But please, I think you should. Oh God,
I would follow him. I would have followed him.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Sure.
And he's always saying like, from Jesus Christ Superstar, going, hey, everybody, calm the fuck down.
I do think you would probably fall for the forgiveness guy. Yes.
I don't have to fight. He said, turn the other cheek. I don't know why go with that voice as a defeated person. Bang!
Zuid says, I love MacGuffin talk. Seems like this segment is often rife with them.
Oh, I see. You're going to give me a MacGuffin is a golf. A MacGuffin is when you give a golf do-over.
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
Why do I have to remember what a MacGuffin is?
You don't have to, really. You don't, unless people keep poking the beast.
Have you ever had one of those egg MacGuffins?
Uh-huh. We've covered that, too. We covered that as well.
Okay. I can't see myself making funny faces, so it's no fun. Do you have anything to comment on that?
I really don't.
Eastside is 76 from the Rockford Files file, now at episode 17 of season 1, and some other things I've noticed. Oh my God, I didn't know he was going through the whole thing. You should know, Andy. It's in the news. Kind of lame Rockford gets his ass kicked often. 2 mooks, which I think is an okay word, right?
Yeah,
just means like a rough customer. 2 mooks either punch or pistol whip him. He gets knocked out once or twice an episode. Well, I think that might have also been the way it was written earlier on, or was that consistent throughout that he always got his ass kicked?
Well, I mean, that was part of the, that was part of the anti-hero quality of him.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to make a character who was, a discount bin detective,
I think they did a good job of it. I mean, it seemed realistic to me, except for Angel. No, he was realistic too, kind of. No, but did that stay throughout the whole thing? Did he always? Because he's always him and Mannix were always trying to see if their job was okay.
All right.
All right.
Sure.
Oh, that would be me.
That's how they connected to the previous scene. You were coming out of where you get hit, Jim. All right. Okay.
I'm doing a Burt Reynolds thing.
Yeah. I haven't revisited Rockford in depth. I've watched a couple episodes like every once in a while if I stumble upon them, just because I do have a fondness for it. But we watched it as a family when I was 5, so I didn't really, internalize all of it.
And to me, I never saw it. I never saw it when I was a kid, obviously, because it came out when did it come out? In
the mid 70s.
Yeah, so I saw it when I got out to L.A., and it was always so comforting to me because it took me a long time to get used to L.A. I found it a weird, I don't know, where's the good pizza? No bagels. What am I going to do? I'll cry. And then so shows like that really got me into loving Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And feeling like, oh, I live in a trailer in Malibu. Who's the other one who did Taxi? Who's the Bob James?
That's Barney Miller.
Oh, that's what a great
Taxi.
And at the end he goes, "Okay, Schmicky." Doesn't he? It's not one of those shows that ends with, "Yeah, come here, boo boo." Right?
Sit.
At the end he goes,
"Sit, Ubu, sit." Is that what you're thinking of?
Is that what I'm saying? Is that show? Okay, Ubu.
No.
You know what? I think maybe
that was
my
MTM.
Character...
Actually, it was actually MTM, I believe. Taxi.
Oh, that's right. Who's the guy who's like, "Urgh." That's what he talks all the time? He's like a famous showrunner. I think he needs to give you more. A little more. Just a little more. I'm going to read the next one, so you read the one after that because I don't have my laptop.
Uh-huh.
BD West says, is that a new name? I think so.
No, not really.
Oh, sorry, BD West. It also sounds like a character from something, like from Doonesbury. BD West says, Godfather 1 and Maud Squatter 2 harumph. The two greatest movies ever made. Young Frankenstein, I Am Frau Blucher, Horse's Rear, and Lost in America, 2. Your wife likes that number. I added that to his bit.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. She loses all the money.
22.
And someone at the table, an Asian fellow, says, your wife likes that number. I don't think. Were you pitching Mod Squatter 2 or something?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think
you have nothing on this?
I think he was just stylizing his tweet with that.
I think you're right. Maybe it's nonsense based.
Yeah. I don't agree those are the two greatest movies ever made, but I agree that they're two great movies.
What's Mod Squatter 2?
I don't know, Andy. Don't dwell on it.
Oh, okay.
Please,
I'm sorry. I apologize. Please read the next. Please read the next
Andy,
question.
Please.
I apologize.
Please.
I say I'm sorry.
Jason live and in person Parton says, I just discovered Yellow Magic Orchestra. Why have you two been hiding them from me? I demand answers, and by demand I mean, if you want to. I don't know Yellow Magic Orchestra, nor what it is.
So he's thinking we do know him. We do know it. We do know of it. Is it a band?
I don't know.
What have you two?
I'm led to believe it's a band just by the name, but.
Well, I have actually, Josh.
Yeah.
I am up on this.
Okay. What is it, Andy?
And it's a magic orchestra that emphasizes the color yellow when it paints. Ma. Jason, that question stumped us.
Yellow Magic Orchestra is a Japanese electronic music band formed in Tokyo in 1978 by Hiroyomi Hosono, Yukuhiko Takahashi, and another Japanese gentleman. The group is considered influential and innovative in the field of popular electronic music. That would pretty much tell you why it ain't on my lip.
You know what I was listening to on Music Choice? I'm not going to brag, but I watch Music Choice on TV.
He watches Music Choice. That's right.
Yeah,
he literally watches the non-video music channel on his TV.
And they had Japanese Breakfast on, and that's a very nice band.
Yeah.
And I like that name, Japanese Breakfast. So maybe I would like the Yellow Magic Orchestra, that doesn't have the same. That's like
it kind of bothers me that the Japanese people name their thing the Yellow Magic Orchestra.
Yeah, in fact, just right there, I was thinking, am I being racist? I didn't come up with it, I realized.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was a real thing before I kept saying it, too.
Exactly. Wow. What a moment. This stumped us. Tweet, Bahara, Bahara, ho, tweet Bahara, do, ooh, wee, ooh. Tweet Bahara says, a friend of mine calls you guys Yid, Abbott, and Drew Costello, but I think Yid is offensive. Okay, it's me. I thought it up, and I'm testing the water. That's pretty good.
As long as Andy is a Yid, I'm fine. But if you're calling me a Yid, I'm deeply offended.
The fact that I'm not offended by it doesn't mean I would want to be called Yid.
I'm not going to be called Yid.
You're going to be called
I'm not being called Yid.
Where did Lou Costello get that voice? I'm not going to go, bud.
I bought it off a guy in vaudeville. What the fuck are you asking me?
Lou? He got paid twice as much. Lou?
That's a fallacy.
I know it is. It has to be. Everybody be lining up for the easiest job.
Yes.
Right? Let me get the. No, I know it's not the easiest job, is what someone's going to tell me.
No, but you're hilarious. No, I'm not.
No, but you're great as a straight person. Oh, what do you mean by that? Because it's really hard to do. How's that? You used to do a two-hander, right? And bed.
Yes. I do it second-hander to make it feel like a stranger.
This is okay. This is like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this is the worst level we've ever sunk to.
It's not.
But it's really, really close.
It's, it's trending in that direction. Seth Dick III says, so I watched the Jimmy Savile doc on Netflix, and it's crazy. The Freak was a combination of Cosby, Richard Simmons, Jerry Sandusky, and Chauncey Gardner.
I just watched it too.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated. I mean, it's like I had heard about. I thought, I must know who this guy is when they were talking about it when it happened.
Yeah.
But then I watched this thing. I had no idea who this guy was,
right.
And it is fascinating to watch because of how strange he is, but really kind of a horrible man.
Sounds like not kind of a horrible man, like an absolutely horrible man.
Why can't I? Why am I on the fence about it? I mean, it was terrible. I mean, it was like, it's just awful. The whole thing's awful, but it is compelling. The horrible personality that he came up with to make people think he wasn't, because he kept going. They kept saying, "Are you in someone charging you with something?" He go, "Yes, the case starts Thursday." That was his joke for years.
He's like your he's like your emails. He's like your email interviews.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and they had him literally say 30 times, "Oh yeah, are you going out with anybody?" "No, the case starts Thursday." And he would do that over and over and over again. And also, it was interesting to find out that he has a northern British accent, which is considered more sincere. I had never heard that. Like, people from the north are generally liked more because they don't have that posh people sound.
Poshness,
yeah.
Yes.
But still good diction. So I recommend it. It was really
I haven't watched it yet, but
though.
I definitely will.
Yeah, it's creepy. And all these people who he was with, he was with everybody from the Mick Jagger. I mean, he knew it was everybody. He was like the biggest presenter there at one point.
Yeah.
And he had Top of the Pops, all these shows. But if you watched him, and when you will watch him, you won't, I'd be interested to know if you can see what the appeal is, regardless of,
well, but there's that whole English music hall comedy aesthetic that we just never had here.
Is that where Benny Hill comes out of, you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, is Benny Hill ever funny?
Yeah, Benny Hill's sometimes funny, but it's never, it's never.
Do they change the music a lot, or do they go to the same?
They fall back on yakety sax.
How's the guy yakety sax go? It sounds like preschool Shark Tank.
Kind of.
Here's my idea.
It's preschool alto sax.
Oh, now what instrument is playing that?
Alto.
Is it a theremin? Oh, it's all saxophone?
Yes. It's called yakety sax.
All right. So what yakety sax? Yakety sax. So it's like a keyboard. Boo, boo, boo. He's a dumb guy. Boo, boo, boo. He's a dumb guy. I guess I hate the saxophone. I love the saxophone once you pull it out of rock being overused in rock music.
Yeah.
Then you can go listen to jazz.
Yeah.
But for a while, the sax that was represented by rock and roll sax playing, and sadly to me, Bruce Springsteen's sax player I never enjoyed. It sounded like
really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't like the E Street Band. Okay, take me out of this loop.
No,
I don't understand the E Street Band.
Okay,
and so that's the problem.
You don't understand them, or you don't enjoy
They sound
them?
messy, noisy, and they never sounded great to me.
Yeah.
So I was closed to them, and I think they're actually a great band, probably.
Yeah. Well, I think both can be true. This Mr. Black and White.
But I'm saying I was
They
so
could be
close
a great
to him.
band you don't enjoy.
No. Now I do. Like when I see Rosalita, that live thing
Yeah,
that they used to play on MTV.
sure. I remember it.
I love that.
It was good.
Oh, the Master of Disaster.
Yeah.
And then I loved it.
Yeah.
I went from hating him and thinking he was a Bob Dylan ripoff. But a lot of people I think had trouble with him. Like even people who would be musicians
Yeah.
had trouble with him. If you liked Bob Dylan, a lot of people, it's like, I'm not saying they were right. I was right for being an idiot.
Yeah. You know what I came to in a sort of anti-Dylan way yesterday? Not really anti-Dylan, but I was listening to Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel and going, Paul Simon was so much better than Bob Dylan at that a young age.
You're hard to argue with that with me because I love Paul Simon and I think he was obviously a sophisticated musician and he was also a great, amazing musician.
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
that point,
Yeah.
at that age and stuff. But I love Bob Dylan. So
No, I know. I wasn't trying to spark
Yeah.
a debate. I was just saying it was just something that came to me very strongly yesterday, where I was just like, I don't maybe even remember what the line was, but I was just like, that is incredible that a 23-year-old got to that line.
Well, also, you're talking about an album that I sang every day of my life for maybe 5 or 6 years, and it's like,
especially the whiny old Jew part.
Yeah, never your own, and also I cry like a baby.
Did you memorize the old Jews on that?
Your own room. In your own, and everybody, what is this? What is this? What is this? Your own room. I'm not getting any younger. I care for the mucus. I shouldn't be getting into it, but as a kid, I went both ways with it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it as shtick, because I didn't believe, because how terribly strange to be 70. About Paul Simon. I guess I'll never have to deal with that.
Right.
Look at here's the song that I take out of my mind now. How terribly strange to be 70. I'm 65, you son of a bitch. And Paul McCartney, why don't you go fuck yourself?
Yeah.
You had 64.
You're older than his old song now, yeah.
Well, you still be sending me. Will I still be sending you? I'm in better shape than most 64-year-olds. That's a terrible song, as well as Obladi.
Yeah.
No, not really. They're both wonderful songs.
I like both songs. I don't think that they're rock classics, but they are, they're good ditties.
Everything Paul McCartney did, if he could write something terrible and it would be good.
No, that's not true. That's not true. He's written things that are just terrible.
Like the best song I've ever heard is When There's No Cupboard There, You'll Find Something There with My Girl. That song says it. And the other one, they say the world is made of silly long love songs. I think that song beats out I Write the Music.
That's not what they say.
They say the world is made.
No, that's not what they say.
They say the world has a little too many silly love songs. No?
No, not so much.
What's wrong with that? I would like to know. All right. Don't call me
Terrible
Boopsie
song,
said.
by the way. Really bad song.
Yeah.
Really bad song.
I was trying to think of if I liked, I was thinking to myself, I don't dislike Barry Manilow, and I like the melodies of some of those songs.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You can have mixed feelings about people, Andy. You can have
I know.
feelings.
Well, not Mr. Black and White. Sorry, sir. Not Mr. Black and White. Okay, I'll think about that. You can have different feelings. Okay, I'll check that out. Don't call me Boopsie says, I've been watching Gilbert on local chat show clips for several days, and I've come to a conclusion. I enjoyed him. Well, I always loved him. I always thought he was so hilarious from the first time I heard the Ben Gazzara's an actor.
Yes.
In fact, you could argue that he was more Andy Kaufman-like than Andy Kaufman was. Don't make me argue that.
It would be tough. That would be a tough, when the rubber hit the road, that would be a tough sell.
But he was more willing to get into uncomfortable. He was like Andy Kaufman. He didn't bother him. He was getting into comfortable. He enjoyed uncomfortable areas.
I think so. Absolutely. I think he was trying to provoke audiences into a reaction. I think it's, and if you can, it's the same, for some people, that's the same itch.
Yeah.
Laughter is a deliberate provocation of a strong reaction from people, and
True.
it gives you power and it makes you feel right, and so, but for some people, making someone angry gives them scratches the same itch, or making people uncomfortable scratches the same itch because they're in control of the people's feelings,
Do I have something like that where I go, oh yeah, now I'm glad.
No, you're a pure approval seeker.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's the diagnosis.
And I think it's more. I think it's more about. I talked about Jen Kirkman talking about the ADD, that feeling of being an efficient machine on stage that gets scratched. But there also is a certain thing for me, I think, of just being right. Like the joke works. I'm right. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of a. It's kind of
like every joke is a theory until there's a laugh to prove it.
That definitely is true. Except I wouldn't want people to think that they should drop it if it doesn't get a laugh.
Well, it depends.
You might not be saying it. You might not be saying it right, or it's the wrong crowd.
Yeah, but if you don't drop it after the 7th time, it doesn't get a laugh.
That's what's so great about
you're
comedy.
Just self-indulgent.
Yes, or you really are making a joke for one person, and then you can do that.
And you can do that, absolutely.
As long as all your jokes aren't that way.
Right.
But what am I talking about?
All your jokes are that way.
All my jokes are that way. I don't have respect for the audience. I don't care whether they have a good time. I don't feel I owe anything to them. I'm not happy about getting on. I don't think it's the right field for me. I don't like people in general. And you know what? It's been a lot of fun.
And good night.
Greg Kelly says, as an official baseball fan of the podcast, I'm struck that Andy named a guy, Jerry Arrigo, who played for the Mets from May to August 1966. Thanks, Sous Vide, for the info. I hear Jerry's landlord during that brief time was none other than James Mason. Now, I don't think Greg Kelly, does Greg Kelly know that the origin of the story is me going in 1966 at the age of 10 to Jerry Arrigo's door and knocking on his door in Le Havre.
How in the world else do you think he would know about it, Andy?
Because somebody else brought it up.
No, you
separately.
Told that story last week. And that is why he's commenting.
How do you know he listened to last week? How do you know?
I'm going to answer his
I
question.
think so. Also, I don't think I gave the original story again last week.
You did. I had never heard it before last week.
Oh, I remember saying to you, I think I said this story before, but I hadn't. Okay, so he's just saying he enjoys it as a baseball fan.
Yeah. He's
okay,
struck.
I thought he was really saying, I thought he didn't know the source of it. And he just thought it was an amazing.
No, he was saying
story.
It's interesting that the famous Met you talked about only played for the Mets for most of a season.
And how would I have found? Well, I guess
because
somebody knew.
Someone lived there and went,
Jerry Arrigo lives down the hall.
Yeah,
Jerry,
right.
we should get an autograph. No, we shouldn't. But yeah, let's go get an autograph. Come on, let's just do it. I'll do it. You knock. I'm gonna knock. Okay. All right. I'll knock. I'm gonna knock. We should go.
I remember the look on his face was very nice. I always remember when people were kind to me as kids. I mean, he wasn't like thrilled.
Right. And as for his question, he hears that Jerry's landlord was James Mason during those days.
And
so
in fact,
is that
it's true. Yeah. Oh, yes. I had a sort of underground railroad with the Mets back then that would funnel them into my apartment building. Mostly relievers. In fact, they referred to it lovingly as the bullpen. My apartment building. A lot of short stays. Lot of cup of coffee in the majors, fellas. But they were good fellas all, and their leases were backed by the Mets.
James Mason, it doesn't matter what he's talking about. It could be he could be talking about cheese. He just makes it sound like
cheese. Yes, I could.
Yeah, or bad alcohol, like a Thunderbird. He makes it sound like you want it.
It's not a bad alcohol.
It's an
interesting
James,
taste.
It's garbage.
It's interesting taste all its own.
Can't you sell something and also realize it's garbage?
I would never sell something I thought was garbage. I would think
So it is delightful, you
it
think?
has to be at least interesting for me to for me to endorse it.
Oh, so you're like with John Houseman kind of a vibe.
Yes, he did very well for himself.
Are we done? Oh, no, we still have stuff to
No.
do.
Dylan Thomas says, did Andy catch John Worster doing his impression of Bruce Springsteen, doing an impression of Andy, doing his Bill Maher on the Best Show a few weeks back?
No, that I missed. I heard him last night on the show. Oh, I got to hear this. But I listened on Tuesday, and they just coming up with all these different names. And one was Darkness on the Edge of Pancakes, which made me laugh very, very, very much. John Worcester is hilarious. And if you ever get a chance to listen to him on the Best Show, it's the greatest. That's all I got, my friend.
All right, don't call me Boops. He says, when some politically inastute person asks what President Biden has accomplished in his career, I say he got the worst president in American history out of office, and that's good enough for government work. Not a bit. Or is it?
Well, it is a bit, and it's also true. It's like, fuck these people. You know, it's like, what do they want? What did they want after that, after we almost died from, and so we still could die if he gets back in 20. Have you reading these things? Have you been reading these things about like, what do you mean, have you been reading these things? You know, about how they, thought he was going to, like McConnell thought he was going to resign, or they thought he was going to, they really thought they were going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And then they let him back in. Now they let him back in. He could win in 24 because of them.
I don't think he'll win in 24, but yeah.
You don't think he will?
No, I don't.
Oh, thank you. I feel bad.
I really don't. I think a Republican could win. I think it could be worse with someone like DeSantis or something.
Oh.
But I think Trump will have lost both more marbles and more support by then,
and be in jail, maybe.
I don't think he's ever going to go to jail. I really don't. But
and why do you think? Don't you think that would make the Republicans even more softened up to lose?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I just don't know anything at this point.
No. Hey, remember when I was before and I said, "Oh, I have friends who work on the campaign," and they said she's going to squeeze it out. So don't worry about it. Everyone sleep well.
I just feel like he lost by 7 million votes last time, and it's not like he's going to gain more followers in the.
No. I'm even surprised at how evil the GOP is. I knew they were evil, but I didn't know they were just like, yes, okay, we will sign off on this.
That it's not just, it's, it used to be just wrong. Now everyone's going for the supervillain thing now.
It's so, if it wasn't so sad, I would laugh or something like that. If it wasn't so funny, it would be funny. What do they say when they go that? If it wasn't funny, it would be hilarious. If it wasn't so sad, it would be hilarious. Is that what they say?
They say all of them.
Okay.
And then people just choose their own meaning.
Zing Zang the Fop. I love that. Zing Zang the Fop. Well, maybe I shouldn't like it. Is it like an anti-gay thing? Hey, Andy and Josh. It was great meeting you at Coachella. You guys rage. Nothing at all like your podcast personas. Josh was drinking Monster in both fists and kept yelling, "Best show since 1979, motherfuckers."
Andy kept yelling, not and he.
He's a dumb guy. He's not particularly bright, but he has a podcast. But he can't read the questions right. He's Andy Kindler. He was made to feel stupid by his father. Yes. Josh was drinking Monster in both fists. Andy kept yelling, "Best show since 1979, motherfuckers." I think that's how it went down. Zing Zang is bringing a whole new energy.
A little.
I don't know where he's coming from.
A fantasy world of us actually having joy.
Oh, you had a good question here, and you got a lot of feedback from yours.
Yeah, that was great. Future Prime Minister of Canada, Richard Cole, says Canada still has a mask mandate on planes, trains, and buses. Suppose Andy changes his mind and decides to go to Montreal. Will Josh drive him to the airport in Vancouver?
Oh, it's not going to... You know what? You did get me a little bit more hopeful knowing that I could tour through Canada safely with masks. You know, I'm so happy about making the decision to not go anywhere. So good. I don't mean to like that because it just sounds like selfishness. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not getting sick, you suckers.
You have no obligation to anybody.
Exactly.
Except me.
Oh, the Parouche is on fire. Parouche says, no, Andy, no Moon Tower. Am I right? Who am I going to watch? The Sklar Brothers? What am I, a Pete Holmes fan now? The only people I feel bad about in Austin are not being able to see my friends and like Colleen and seeing, and I love going there. I absolutely love going there.
Yeah. Say the names of our listeners who you see too. Come on.
Yeah, we have, that's where I first met. We had our first big meet with, not Tweet Bahara. Who else did I meet there? His wife.
His wife, Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy. And Peru. Does that mean Perush there? I don't think so. Yes. You weren't there. I was the only person who wasn't there.
I was not there.
All three of us were there. All three Thought Spiral listeners.
Eastside 76 says, thanks to Andy for suggesting Columbo. I've never seen it because I'm not white. The first one was really good. It blew my mind when I saw who directed. I'm actually going to sit down and watch these. And then the screenshot is directed by Steven Spielberg.
Wow, yeah. And a lot of great directors. Leo Penn, who is Sean Penn and Michael Penn's father. He was on there. What's going on? I've lost. It's like
I don't like it. A non-committed name drop.
The only time they aren't as good in the 90s, but I still watch them.
Yeah. Stephen L. Yates says, my wife and I had dinner with Archbishop Epidophorus this week. He leads the Greek Orthodox Church in America. Who is the most important person you ever met?
I was going to say Robert Kennedy Jr. He's not. He's kind of annoying. Who have I met?
I don't know. And it depends what
have you met?
What are we defining as important too, and what are we defining as meeting?
Well, you've met me, and I'm the most important person in the. No.
Yes, on your
I think it's a trick
hierarchy,
question.
You are.
It's a trick question, obviously.
Yeah,
because he's not saying. I think he's trying to say, look at the picture. To me, says, check it out, guys. I know Greek Orthodox people. What are you doing?
Oh, it's definitely a brag built into this, but that's not exactly Stephen L. Yates' way to be a braggart.
No.
So I think we can spot him this since he went pretty high up the Greek Orthodox chain.
It looks like this picture that he said, okay, now if all three of us could be underneath individual chandeliers, it might be nice.
All right, if we could everyone just scooch left.
Now move a little bit more.
It looked like we all had an idea.
My wife and I like that. My wife, who did we have dinner with? Archbishop this week. Something's wrong here. He's paying off somebody. I think, Stephen, this is a political thing. John Dunbar says, listen to Josh's superb appearance on Gilbert's podcast, which I heard too. And it was great. Is that the one I'm talking about when you went on and bumped up our audience?
Oh, yes.
Wild to hear another Otto Preminger acid trip reference, but even wilder was learning that Josh's father was Bob Dylan's English tutor. Can Josh tell us more? Does angry Bob Dylan remember those days? Well, that's up to Josh.
Well, it's all a lie. It's all a lie. No one ever helped me with English. No one ever helped me with anything. I just rode the rails of New Mexico. And
don't be ungrateful.
People tell stories of me being a Jew in Minnesota, but it's all hearsay.
I just don't understand. You got more money than God.
I hate it when people try to ride my coattails like I rode the rails.
Is it because you're afraid of death? Is that what it is?
I'm afraid of facing the truth.
What's the truth?
The truth is I'm a Jew from Minnesota.
This is where you don't know what's going to happen with improv. I don't know where you're going. I'm afraid to face the truth. The truth, Rob.
But yeah, no, Paul, both Dylan and my dad were both Sigma Alpha Mu, which is a Jewish fraternity. And they both lived at the Sigma Alpha Mu frat house their freshman year. And so, and so my dad tutored him in freshman English because my dad was an English major. And then there's that picture that I found of them at that folk singing class.
Your dad kept in touch with him.
Not at all. Not at all. But my mom, as I've also said, my mom's mom was very good friends with Dylan's mom.
Oh, that's right.
Growing up on the Iron Range together.
Now that's kind of amazing. But it's not amazing because you're a Jew and you're in Minnesota. So there's probably 5 and everyone knows each other.
There's something to that.
Not that.
There's something to that, though. Yes.
There is something to that. Let's see. What do we got here? Christopher Citro. No, sorry. Dan Wade. Oh, no, you go.
Dan Wade said, "Hi, Josh. I finally watched A Serious Man. Are there any little Minnesota Jewish nuggets that they got right that the general public wouldn't have noticed?" Andy, same question, but with Space Jam.
Completely unrealistic. That's not what space is like.
They totally got it right, including using my actual cantor from my synagogue as the voice of the chanting on the record and at the end of the movie. So
that's so cool.
So it didn't feel like, it was 10 years earlier than when I grew up. So the vibe was a little bit different than it wasn't like, that's my life, but it was like they got the nuances of the place pretty good.
Was your cantor a good singer?
He was a great singer, yeah. Shout out to Neil Newman, huh?
Did you kept in contact with him at all or no?
I've seen him since. He in fact was he came to my mother's deathbed and sang her last rites, in fact.
Oh, wow.
Because they were friends in life as well.
Oh, that's so cool. Not cool, but you know what I mean, emotional.
Yeah, it was. It made her feel better at that moment. It made her feel like she was doing the right thing to get to heaven.
Have him come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christopher Citro says, poet
Dean.
Okay, sorry.
Dean.
Stop it, Josh. Sorry about that, folks. Josh was really being. Christopher Citro says, poet Dean Young wrote, even rabbits are made of firecrackers, so tiny they tickle your hand. Any interesting encounters with wild animals come to mind? Something majestic like a wolf or just a seagull that once snagged a cotton candy grape from your grocery bag? Just a big raccoon, that horrible raccoon in Yosemite who would have killed me, would have ripped my throat out if I said one more thing.
Absolutely. If he knew you were Jewish.
I just know the raccoons were like, I said, get out of here. And they're like, I'm not going. You fucking, what are you going to do?
There, you cannot intimidate a raccoon.
It's so terrible. Are they scared of nothing?
They're probably, inside they're very scared. But
they act tough.
Yeah. What was the question?
Wild
animal encounters.
Yeah.
I hit a deer with my car. I've seen a lot of buffalo, I've seen bear, in a far enough distance away that I wasn't that worried.
Wow. That's kind of fun then, right? Or exciting.
Yeah, sure. Anything that's not going to kill you is exciting to see.
But you just made me think, how far would be safe? Like, so I can laugh at how far away he is, and then once you all of a sudden, ah!
Well, I mean, you still move along.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. I haven't gotten anything that dangerous, except Alabelle and I, when we were locked in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we had to call the club owner to come get us to the club because the dog was not going to let us up the stairs.
Yeah.
But we didn't think he was.
Right.
And we were two Jews.
Yeah.
Two Jews who don't know about dogs.
All right.
Do you think that's a stereotype that means anything? No. Jews know about dogs.
Well, speaking as a dog-loving Jew, I can't really. I'm already the exception to the rule if you're making a rule here.
Well, I can't be making it. I think I'm really shooting in the dark.
I think you are. I think you're just going with the broader Jews are scared.
Yeah. I was just, yeah. Or odd. You can always go, how about those odd Jews?
Right.
Exactly.
There you go. I think this might be our last one here, Andy.
Oh, I have you don't have Dan Marsh?
That's it. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, go ahead.
No, you do it. You do it.
Oh, hey, Dan Marsh says, hey guys, if you could go back in time and decline a gig or job you accepted, what would it be and why? And decline a gig.
Well, it's hard to. I mean, for me, there's two tracks because there's stand-up gigs and then there's jobs, like writing jobs,
right?
And those jobs are the ones that cause true unhappiness because you have to keep going back to them. Whereas gigs are a temporary thing.
Yeah, so they're fun to recount later.
But the ones that I would go back and turn down are shitty stand-up gigs because most of the writing jobs, even ones that I was really miserable at, had some silver lining to them that I wouldn't want to give up.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like even like Malcolm and Eddie, which was a really bad year. I got to work with Richard Pryor for a week.
Wow, yeah.
So it's like I don't want to give that up, really.
I would give up when I took the job of dressing up as an inflated globe for Comedy Central. That might have been the most embarrassing
thing.
thing.
I could see taking
during the OJ trial.
Yeah, I could see taking that one back for sure.
Because for years
that video we did, that volleyball thing, I could come.
That might be the first thing.
Although although there was an Oscar winner there, that's the silver lining. We worked with J.K. Simmons.
Fun to banter with. Yeah, he was fun to banter with.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean by each thing has a silver lining. There's always some story, or there's a lot of bad jobs where I ended up making very good friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to the worst jobs, I actually had terrible jobs out of college that were like.
Yeah, but this is showbiz. We're talking showbiz.
Not showbiz. Everything is good.
We're talking showbiz in this question.
We're very lucky. I don't know why I said that. Well, folks, I'm going to pretend like I'm in charge of the show. Well, folks.
Oh, hey, Mr. Kindler, could I inject here?
Yes,
could I inject a pitch for our little money raising enterprise?
Oh, shit, please do.
If you enjoy the show, why not help us out by going to buymeacoffee.com/thoughtspiral and buying us a coffee or something? There's a lot of really nice people out there who are helping us out every week or every month or just one time. It's happening, people.
How are our numbers? I just want to ask you a question. How are our numbers doing?
Let me look it up.
Your wife likes that number.